There's been a lot of discussion about the stage 3 tax cuts. Will there be changes? Will they go ahead as planned? Let's bring in the Nationals Senate Leader Bridget McKenzie. She joins me today from Wodonga. Senator McKenzie, thanks for your time. We don't know from the government yet whether this is a broken promise. In fact, they might even give more tax relief than has previously been legislated. If it's more, you'd welcome that.
Well, I always back Australians keeping more of their own hard-earned cash, Kieran, rather than giving it to government. The fact is that these 3 stages of these tax cuts have really benefited lower income earners in the main over the cumulative impact. And we know that bracket creep is going to see more than 1 million Australians in that top bracket by 2030. That's why this package was designed and delivered in the way it is. Australians have voted for it. They need the tax break. They also are expecting it. And so I think they're also sick of politicians who don't keep their word. And it really is beholden on the Prime Minister to make it very, very clear to Australians, instead of, using all this tricky language, very, very clear that he is going to deliver these tax cuts as they were legislated and provide that relief that everyone's expecting.
Certainly, Sky News understands that that top threshold will increase. There'd been some suggestions it would remain at $180,000 a year. That's going to increase. So at least in that sense, it looks like the government's going to be true to its word. And as I say, if it is going to be a tax cut for everyone, if there is going to be a broader relief, that's something the coalition surely would be applauding.
Well, we always applaud tax cuts, obviously. We legislated these tax cuts when we were in government, and so we're looking forward to them being able to provide the relief for Australian families that we planned for. I mean, Kieran, I think what's very, very clear as we come back from the Christmas break is that Labor told us it had a plan for the economic pressures that Australians are dealing with, but it's crystal clear that they don't have a plan. And I think the Prime Minister's hoping against hope that he and Jim Chalmers haven't been able to deal with the cost of living pressures, that someone on his backbench might be able to give him a bright idea tomorrow. And I think that's what's disappointing. I mean, he promised Australians they'd be better off under an Albanese Labor government, but we've seen mortgages and rents go through the roof because of their inflationary spending, but also because of their migration program. Their energy policy has seen energy prices increase. So every single place you look, this government is sending prices in the wrong direction for Australians, not the right. And it's time they came up with a plan to actually give that relief to Australians who are so in need.
We're just a couple of days away from Australia Day. A lot of debate about it, criticism of Woolies by Peter Dutton and others. This is some comments I want to play you. The Australian cricket captain, Pat Cummins, a little while ago ahead of the Gabba test.
I think once you start realising Jan 26th and why it's chosen, and it's Australia Day is meant to be a celebration of everything Australia and our history. I think we could choose a better date.
Pat Cummins there saying we could choose a better date. What do you think, the Aussie cricket captain, joining the discussion?
Well, that's his right. I'd prefer he concentrated on his cricket, but I'm really proud to be an Australian. I'm sick and tired of people telling me I shouldn't be, and that we shouldn't celebrate everything that is wonderful and successful and safe and free about our country. And if not this date, I would argue that any other date that we chose to celebrate our national identity would be similarly attacked by those who seek to make us embarrassed about being one of the great success stories around the globe when it comes to multiculturalism. So I'm going to be celebrating. I've already got my tattoos, fake tattoos from Coles, to put on Friday, and I'm looking forward to heading here locally and celebrating with my local community, as I know millions of Australians will be doing right across the country.
And finally, my colleague Andrew Clennell reporting today, there's a lot of speculation within the opposition that the former PM Scott Morrison might call it a day, might resign from Parliament altogether, possibly in the first sitting week of the year. Is it time for some more renewal?
Well, Kieran, ultimately that's a decision for Scott Morrison when he chooses to leave Parliament. His time as Prime Minister was incredible. I mean, he saw us through a global pandemic incredibly successfully when you look across the globe at where other nations ended up at the conclusion of that. So I think his Prime Ministership will be very well regarded as time goes on, and when he does choose to leave Parliament, I wish him all the best.
Bridget McKenzie, Nationals Senate Leader, thanks for your time. First time for 2024. We'll chat many times throughout the year. Appreciate it.
Look forward to it, Kieran.